Welcome back. If it has joined us and watching the news at 10, broadcasting on Channels Television live from Lagos, a reminder of our top stories. PDP demands prosecution of General Muhammadu Buhari at the International Criminal Court. APC dismisses call as sign of unpreparedness by the PDP for elections. The Bring Back Our Girls campaigners want independent journalists added to the joint multinational task force fighting Boko Haram. Suspected suicide bomber is beaten to death in Bochi, northeast of Nigeria. And tens of thousands of people march in central Moscow in honor of opposition politician Boris Nemtsov. I'd like to remind all our viewers you can read up more on our top stories on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channels where you can watch our videos. You can also visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device and download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. We also urge you to please interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android, iOS, and Windows 8 platforms. So if you have pictures or videos you'd like to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions. Speaking of those pictures, here are a few sent into our portal. Let's begin with this one from Zamfara State in Gusau, showing an empty market. Reporter says that this was the result of roadside marketers who shunned this facility and are instead selling on the road, turning the road leading to the market into a market instead. The next was sent in from Uselu in Benin, Edo State's capital, showing the scene of an accident. Our reporter says the driver was avoiding an object before he lost control and then ran into this ditch. Thankfully, no life was lost. From Benin to Ikeja in Lagos, where this image came from, our eyewitness reporter says the flood at Awolowo Way was as a result of a heavy downpour. He's urging authorities to find a lasting solution as the rainy season has just begun. We'll head up north again to Niger State in Minna, the capital, where this photo comes from, showing a drainage system which our eyewitness reporter says was at one time the best in sub-Saharan Africa, constructed around the town in the 90s. It's now been converted to a dump site. He is urging residents to desist from dumping refuse in this drainage. It could cause erosion and there could be costly consequences to both life and property. A big thank you to all our eyewitness reporters. Please keep your pictures and your videos coming. To electoral matters now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has assured those communities across the country voicing grievance over disenfranchisement that everything is being done to ensure their inclusion in the upcoming general elections. Channels Television paid a visit to two of the states with complaints, the Bakassi community in Cross River State, South Nigeria, and the visually impaired persons in Kogi State, Central Nigeria. Our correspondent Oroluwa Shonibare reports.
Elections are a transformative tool for democratic governance. They are the means through which people voice their preferences and choose their representatives. The opportunity to exercise that right, which comes around once in 4 years, is the most important power citizens have. And this story shows two sets of people eager not to miss out. The first takes us to Amoto Island in Bakassi local government area of Cross River State, South Nigeria. Here, the people, cut off by water, have been crying for inclusion in this electoral process to better their lot. And those involved in campaigns are ensuring that this is achievable. A daughter of the region and senator, Florence Itagiwa, is visiting the community to reassure them that they are not forgotten. But they also have a role to play.
This is your voice. This is your voice for any demand you want to make. If you do not vote, then you don't have a right to ask government for anything. But if you have your voter's card, permanent voters card and you go and vote, then we can now go on the streets to demonstrate, to tell the world that we took part in the democratic process, but that they have neglected us. But if you don't have this, you cannot complain.
Those residents with PVCs are upbeat.
I'm ready. I have my own voter's card. I'm ready to vote.
We have been having serious challenges on how people could collect their PVC in this area. But we thank God the consciousness has been created in the minds of the people. You know, the issue of PVC in Nigeria for today has come to stay that even private people have seen the need to contribute without even waiting for only the government effort, because Nigeria is conscious of the fact that they should vote.
The community of the visually impaired in Kogi State, located in the central region of the country, have taken their complaints to the office of the Independent National Electoral Commission. The resident electoral commissioner in the state assures of the commission's commitment not to disenfranchise any Nigerian, especially those with disabilities.
We have produced materials of voter education with braille. That is the type of reading material that people that are visually impaired use. So we have presented to them so that we can carry them along, for them too to be educated.
Whatever party these people vote for is certainly left to their conscience. But what they desire more is that the opportunity to make that choice should not pass them by. Orolu Ashonibare, Channels Television News.
It's now certain that 15 lawmakers indeed want the governor of Ebonyi State, Mr. Martin Zelechi, kicked out of office. During the week, a motion to notify the governor of his impeachment sailed through at the Ebonyi State House of Assembly, paving the beginning of a journey that may see the governor removed. But 9 of the lawmakers have vowed to defend the governor, claiming that the allegations against him are not substantiated. Channel Television's crew in Ebonyi State reports that the 15 lawmakers have fled the state, though, having accused the governor of wanting to eliminate them. The Ebonyi State Governor, Mr. Martin Zelechi, is facing impeachment from some lawmakers in the state as they accuse him of misappropriation of state funds, gross misconduct and embezzlement.
And the 9 of us are here.
The motion for his removal was supported by 15 members out of the 24 lawmakers in the House, falling short of a 2/3 majority according to the state's constitution. The other 9 members gathered to brief newsmen on why they will not be part of the impeachment, saying it will destabilize the peace enjoyed in the state.
A motion of the House of Assembly that the allegation be investigated shall not be declared as having been passed unless it is supported by the votes of not less than 2/3 majority of all the members of the House of Assembly. That 15 members cannot be the 2/3 majority of all the members of a 24-member House of Assembly. That very desperate attempts and overtures are being made to induce and intimidate us from yielding against the demand of justice and good conscience to the plot for the impeachment of our dear governor.
They also accused the Speaker of the State House of Assembly of contravening Section 188, subsection 4 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, and allegedly collaborating with some other politicians in the state to unlawfully impeach the governor. One of the founding fathers of Ebonyi State and an elder statesman, Chief Egwuchima, says he's disturbed by the happenings in the political scene.
It's not like a question of ambition. It's a question of obsession, of that's destructive obsession. Don't be governor. Governor of who?
At the moment, the governor's yet to make any official response. But the 15 lawmakers who want the governor out have fled the state as they're said to be operating from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. The Bring Back Our Girls campaign group has asked the military to designate independent journalists as part of its contingent within the multinational Joint Task Force to ensure third-party, independently verified accounts of the war against insurgency and terrorism in Nigeria. This call formed part of the group's second-week brief on the monitoring initiative, which they said is set to help entrench accountability and improve performance in the ongoing counterinsurgency operations. The campaigners, who said they fully support the ongoing offensive, which is expected to quell insurgency in Nigeria, also asked that the military publish the list of towns and communities still under the control of Boko Haram insurgents to ensure Nigerians appreciate victories made by the soldiers.
The military has yet to take steps to respond to our calls for third-party, independently verified accounts of the war. We do not wish that the efforts of our gallant soldiers be cast in any shadow of doubt by a disbelieving public because of previous disappointments. It is for this reason that we reiterate the importance of having journalists embedded among the ground troops to independently cover the counterinsurgency efforts. Such practice is in fact a global standard by militaries prosecuting wars in various countries all over the world.
We turn fully now to security issues as reports of a teenage girl being lynched by a mob in Bauchi State came through this evening. Police in the area say suspicions were raised when she refused security screening before entering a market in the city. No explosives were found on her, save for 2 bottles strapped to both sides of her waist. With fears of suicide bombings across northern Nigeria, the crowd reportedly wasted no time in putting a tire on her soaked in petrol and then setting her ablaze. Police said she was already dead before they arrived on the scene to rescue her and disperse the crowd. Police have described her as a victim of mob action carried out by an irate crowd. They were doubtful she was a bomber, as she did not detonate any explosives when she was attacked. They also think this could have been a ploy by Boko Haram to test accessibility to the bus station, using her as a test. Now, over 80,000 persons are said to have been affected by fire and windstorm disasters in the 3 states of Nigeria's southwest region in 2 months. A National Emergency Management Agency says the persons were affected in 7 major different incidences in Lagos, Ogun, and Oyo states in January and February of this year. The emergency agency disclosed that 1,000 houses and 251 shops were affected in the cases across the 3 states. NEMA is now imploring on Nigerians to embark on tree planting as a measure to guard against wind and rainstorm, as well as prevent soil erosion in order to create a safe and serene environment for living and to avert further disasters. Meanwhile, Muslims in New York are concerned that the successes made by the Nigerian military on the Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast of the country will have a negative result. While they're impressed the military is closing in on the insurgents and retaking captured communities, they say the important element of community collaboration could be jeopardized. Our correspondent Kingsley Amayo reports from New York City.
Many Muslims in New York say government and community must work together to defeat Boko Haram. 59-year-old Imam Suleiman Kanote says that in order to win this war, Nigeria must employ the help of good Muslims.
If the government fight these people without the contribution and participation of Muslims, whatever they do is okay, but it's not. Because we, in our society, in our community, we know one another. We know bad Muslims. We know them when we see them. If we and the government work together, side by side, believe me, we can stop them.
Daisy Khan, a leading advocate for Muslim advancement in the U.S., agrees. But she says one of the biggest shortfalls in the government strategy is not dealing with Boko Haram's ability to recruit.
It's very important that we not turn over all our efforts to law enforcement because they fail, because they don't understand how local communities work. Local people don't have weapons, but they have the intelligence. And they have something that Boko Haram and all these other people don't have. They have influence on their own families. A father can prevent his son from going. He really can. A mother has a huge pull on her son. And if communities just talk to their children and make sure that none of their children are recruited by this, I think that we will see the beginning of a ripple effect.
Recruitment isn't the only thing that people think should be tackled. Professor of Law at Columbia University, Alexander Carter says if Nigeria can instill confidence in young people plagued by poverty, then a huge part of the battle is won.
Part of what the government can do is to show strength. It can show economic strength and a path to prosperity to young Nigerians, to give them hope in something other than Boko Haram.
With recent military feats against the group, Muslim faithfuls here say they're hoping for sustained efforts. Kingsley Amayo, Channels Television News, New York.
When the News at 10 returns, Governor Fashola pleads for understanding for situation of ferry terminal in Osborne Estate. Please join us again.